silent killer, and I guess, how can we break that silence? Big question. Maybe with that question in mind, I can give the floor already to our next speaker and introduce Dr. Andreas Flouris to us. Andreas is a professor of physiology at the University of Thessaly in Greece. He is also a visiting professor at the University of Ottawa. He has led a number of international projects, has published widely on these topics. His specialty, if I can call it so, is to some degree occupational and heat stress, where he advised the new legislation in Qatar. And he is also advising the World Health Organization, the International Labour Organization, and the EU Advisory Committee for Safety, Hygiene and Health Protection at Work. Andreas, the floor is yours. And thanks for being with us.
And thank you very much for inviting and for organizing this important session. Esteemed colleagues, it is a great pleasure to be here. And as we gather today to address climate change, I want to bring your attention to a topic that I feel is both urgent and deeply human. Imagine the lives of European workers where every day under the scorching heat, they have to not only endure the discomfort of working in a hot environment, but it's also about navigating into a minefield of health risks and productivity losses. This is a reality where at least in Europe, hundreds of occupational heat illnesses are happening every year. And this is not just a statistic, it's stories of pain, stories of disruption, and stories of often irreversible loss. In the last decade, we have been working very hard in Europe to gather the needed evidence, and the numbers speak volumes. This slide talks about the health impacts. And the European workers, every single day from May to September each year, face 28 occupational injuries caused by heat stress. Also, there are 36 moderate and 4 severe cases of heat injury every day. The problem is that many of these workers will experience problems in their health that are irreversible, and they may never recover from them. Even worse, every 2 days in Europe, there's one fatality that is related to occupational heat stress. This is the present, but unfortunately the future is even worse because the trend, as we all know, is rising due to climate change. And this highlights the gap. It's a call to action that highlights the gap between the existing public health policies that we have and the challenges, the rising challenges that the workers are facing because of climate change and mainly because of occupational heat stress. At the same time, we are faced with a parallel crisis, the economic burden of productivity losses due to occupational heat stress. The European economy is bleeding currently 5.5 billion euros every single day during the hot part of the year because of productivity losses due to climate change. And this is projected to increase to 26 billion euros a day by 2060. And this is not just an economic forecast, it's a warning that if we don't take immediate and decisive action, the very fabric of our economy, as well as the health care of our workers, the welfare of our workers, will suffer irreparable loss. Identifying those at risk and investing in effective policies to protect them is not just something that we have to do, it's not just our duty, is a wise economic decision. So in conclusion, to not take too much of your time, I think the data that we have, at least in Europe, but also in many other parts of the world now, is irrefutable. In my view, the biggest danger from heat in the coming years is not abstract, it's quite specific. It is the health and the productivity of our workers. We need to address this, and we need to take action now. We need to, the WHO has as Victor just told us, they have laid an important foundational framework to address this at a public health perspective. We need to do the same for workers, because the scale of the problem and also the challenges that they face are so specific that we need to do this. We need to devise specific and targeted interventions to protect them. And of course, by extension, protecting our future. Thank you very much.